We have another brand new double diamond toy Estrada.
Okay, hi everybody. How are y'all? Okay, so as Linda said, we're going to talk about Wrap Party. And this to me is so important because this is where you're going to reach people. You're going to get your loyal customers, like your wheels, and you're also going to get your distributors. So it's a very important thing in your business, all right? So I like to, I don't have as much room here as I'd like, so I'm kind of sitting things on top of each other, but you're going to get the idea. So, most importantly, prior to the party and what you do in preparation for the party is key, in my opinion. And so you want to do something that we call hostess coaching. And it's very important, and I want to tell you why. If you do not prepare the hostess for what will take place at the party, and relay that to the people that will attend, things may not go as smoothly as you'd like, okay? And I could give you a whole lot of examples of that, but I won't sit up here and take that much of your time. But trust me when I say that it is just so important for you to set up the right expectations. So the way that I do that is, number one, you're gonna have that conversation with somebody. When they tell you, hey, I wanna host a party, I can't wait to try the product, you're gonna have that conversation with them. And this is where I say some of these things that I'm about to go over to that person. And then I also follow up with an email. And I reiterate the exact same thing that I already told them. Some key things that you want to mention is, they know that as a hostess, they're going to get to wrap for free. You want to make sure that it's understood that each person will pay to put the wrap on. You don't want everybody to show up and feel like they're going to try it for free. And then people are upset. So whatever it is that you're charging, you want to make that very clear. You're going to try it for free as the hostess, and then each of your guests will try it for X amount of dollars, okay? Then you want to let them know that all you need to do is provide water. This is a healthy thing. We're getting healthy. We're going to try the wrap, and I just would love it if you would provide water for all your guests, okay? The next thing I like to say is that 5 to 7 people is a great party. Now, you're going to sign up a distributor and they want to have a party with 50 people. And you're excited that they're that excited. But let me tell you that all of your leaders will say, a lot of them have done that already, or they've had other people that have had it. We all know that can be a little, I hate to say it's a disaster. But I'm going to go there, okay? And if you're thinking 2 or 3 or 4 minutes per person to get them wrapped, think of how long that takes to wrap people. So, going back to what I tell the hostess, 5 to 7 people is great, okay? And then, so you kind of set up the expectation on, how many people to have, how much it's going to cost, and I also like to tell them the flow. And I'll tell you why this is important. I say, what we're going to do is your guests are going to arrive, and we're going to get them signed in, and you're going to send them right back, and we're going to get them wrapped up. And while they have that wrap on for 45 minutes, I'm going to just chit-chat with you guys about a few products, and we're going to get unwrapped that day. We're going to get your results, and all of your guests are going to have a chance to purchase at wholesale cost. Isn't that great? And then that way they kind of get a feel for what's going to take place. And then, like I said, I follow up with an email. The reason why that's important is you don't want everybody getting there and they want to hear your presentation, and then they're going to decide if they want to wrap or not, because then you're there longer, getting the wrap on people and waiting the 45 minutes. So again, all these things I'm saying, there's multiple ways to do a wrap party, but this is just kind of a simple plan that we're about to go over, and the things that I'm saying I have found to be extremely important. Okay. Along with the email that I send, I love to attach a few different before and after pictures. So when I send the email out, I attach the invitation. I do like a little flyer type invitation that it says, hey, this is the hostess, this is her address, time, her, information on there. And then I also like to include a few different before and after pictures. Now I'm going to include one for the tummy, and I'm going to include one that I like for maybe thighs, because that tells people, hey, this goes everywhere, and you're going to catch different people's interest because we all have that one trouble spot that we're going to clue into, and that piques our interest, all right? So I attached just a couple different before and after pictures in my little invitation, and then again, I've got my little thing that I've reiterated, and I say, hey, forward all of this, this whole thing to all the people that got invited. Now, what are they going to do? They're going to read what I have under there, I hope, and then they're going to look at those pictures in the invitation. All right, and there's more to that, and get with your diamond upline, and there's all kinds of different things that you can do, but I just want to touch on some of the important things. Now, when you go to the party, this is another thing that's so important. You want to take one bag, and I've got my bag down here to kind of show you guys. This is it, guys. You don't want to wheel in 10 suitcases and, a huge bag that's bigger than you are and go out to your car 10 times. I have honestly signed up several distributors who call me and say, you came in with one bag, and it was so easy, and I have back trouble, or, I used to dread doing parties with whatever company they worked for, and, they had to set up their tables and tons of stuff that they brought in, and they loved that. And so that's really important. You want to keep it simple because you want it to be easily duplicated, all right? And so one bag, and then I like to have 3 different stations, and I even have that organized in my bag to where I literally take that station out, and I set this together so that I can show you. This right here is my whole sign-in station, okay? So I'm going to ask the hostess, and I like to arrive about 20 or 30 minutes early. You're going to make sure that that's okay with that person before you just show up and be like, hey, are you ready for me? You want to make sure that's all right. So this is it. You've got your money jar, okay? You've got your before and after your brag book, and I usually have 2 or 3 of these so that people can pass them around. You have a sign that tells them how much it costs for them to wrap. You can put this in a picture frame. You can put this in the little stand-up plastic things like this over here. And then the last thing that I have is a sign-in sheet. And this is what Ginger mentioned earlier, that you've got you've captured their information, their phone number, and their email address and things like that. So I literally just take this out of my bag, carry it over to the sign-in station. Okay? Then my next station is my wrapping station. So I pull these 2 things out of my bag, and the hostess will tell you where to go. If that's, a bedroom or a bathroom, someplace that you're going to go that's private for you to wrap the guests that attend the party, all right? So this is very organized. I keep it stocked. And another key thing is to always keep your bag stocked. That way you don't have to feel like you need to prepare for every party. I find out, can you come to a party tomorrow? You know what, I'm open. I can come to a party tomorrow. I'm already ready to go. Okay, so that works so nicely if you stay organized like that. And then just on occasion, you'll just go back and restock whenever you know you're getting left. So this goes to my next station. My final station is what we call the presentation station. Now you'll see I have literally a TV tray. You can take a small table. You could use a little place at their home or the salon or wherever you're doing your wrap party. You might want to make sure that there's a place to do that, because I went to a party once before and the lady had cleared out a whole room. I didn't have a place to put my stuff. That was not a fun day. Yeah. So I always either keep a table or the TV tray in my car. From that day forward, that's what I do. Yeah, don't make that mistake. Oh wow. So I literally just carry this in. So I got my one bag and I got the TV tray, and I'm good. And I put a few things on the TV tray. I have the wrap so that I can talk about that for my presentation. I've got an empty box of wraps, the defining gel, empty bottle of fat fighters, and empty container of greens. And then this is the stuff that I use to do a fat fighter demonstration. If you haven't seen that yet, you're gonna love that. And then I also have a facial, and that's not absolutely necessary. I'll tell you about that in a second. I also have a clean, dry wrap. So if you put a wrap on, you can take it and wash it out so that you would be able to have a dry one to show people the size of it and all that fun stuff. Then I also have a little packet for people, and I like to use the product sheet that we get from the company, from our It Works store. And that way they've got a list, every single product that we have, because I'm not going to talk about all of those products. We want to respect their time, and we want to get in and out with our one bag in about an hour and a half. So we want to really think about, everybody's busy lives. We don't want to get in there and talk about every product we have and, wrap 30 people, and we're there all afternoon. Because do you think that they're going to want to sign up as a distributor?
No.
I wouldn't. Like, I don't have time for that. So that's something that you want to consider as well. Be respectful of their time. So we're in and out in an hour and a half. We're not going to go through all of these products. So that way they can take this home, and it gives them all of that information. Inside here, I provide a couple of things. There's a few different things that you guys can do. Again, you want to keep it simple. A few suggestions. I would not suggest putting, 20 different things in here, but a few suggestions would be a little questionnaire that maybe asks them a few help questions and gets them thinking about some of our products. Okay, love that. Also, I have a little flyer that I like to use. It goes back to the Dr. Oz show of this year, July of this year, and it just talks about there's some procedures out there that people are paying $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 or more to do things that aren't even as great as what our wraps do. And then it compares our wrap on the bottom. And I love to include that so people are like, wow, that's pretty amazing, okay? And then the last thing is, of course, the most important thing, our customer order form. You definitely want to include one of those. Okay, now I keep that here, and then I pass those out to people right as I'm going to do my presentation. Now, you guys get a catalog in your kit, looks like this. And on one side is what I use for my party presentation. Flip it over. The other side is what I use whenever I talk to somebody that wants to become a distributor and take a look at the opportunity that we have. And if you haven't done that, you definitely want to get with someone in your upline and go through how to do that. And that's a whole other story I could talk about, but we're not going to do that piece of it right now. So this is what I use to do my party presentation. And again, you want to keep it simple. And again, I have literally had people call me to sign up to become a distributor because they said, well, all you did is look through a catalog. I can do that. And I know this stuff like it's the back of my hand. And I could literally talk for days about how excited I am about the greens and, the confianza. And I know you guys, if you've tried some of these things, you can do the same. And we have so many testimonials from our family, from ourselves, and you're going to want to talk about all those things. And that's great to throw a few things in there because that way you're relating to people and you want to touch their hearts, okay? You don't want to just say, hey, I can tell you this and this and this. You want it to mean something. And so throw in those testimonials. And if you don't have your own yet, use somebody else's story until you have your own, okay? That's what we all do. So definitely take that into consideration. But again, you're just going to flip through this. And it's great because every little page is going to remind you of something because even though I know it, this helps me remember because somebody may ask me a question, I get sidetracked, or I really harp on all these testimonies and I get really excited about it and I veer off. So this will bring me back to where I need to be. Okay. And so this literally says, hey, talk about where to put the applicator. So I might mention those things, and that's when I pick up the dried one and I might, fold it in half and say, hey, this is what it looks like if you cut it in half. These are some of the places you can put it. And you want to talk about the applicator, all right? And then this tells you want to relate the experience to them being at home and doing it themselves, all right? So this just reminds you to throw that out there and just say, look how simple this is. You all have it on today. You saw how easy it was. And there's a little bit more to that, and I say things to them when I get them wrapped, but I reiterate that here about how simple it is to just literally take it out of the package and put it on. The next page talks about the 45 and the 72. So this reminds me, tell them that it's the 45-minute application. And this reminds me to tell them that it continues to work in their system for the 72 hours. And that reminds me to tell them to drink water, okay? So these little things are just gonna, trigger things in your head. Now, if you're a brand new distributor, by all means, read this to them, okay? That's okay. And you tell people, I'm super excited about these products and this opportunity that, that I found. And I'm brand new at this, so I'm learning too. But you're sharing your excitement, and that's okay, all right? So So don't feel like, it's a big deal if you stand up here and do this. Remember, I've signed up distributors because they think I don't know what I'm doing. And let them think that. That's okay. That's great. So the next page talks about some of the packages that we have. And the way that I like to do this is when you talk about one, you've already told them a little bit about the wrap. You might say when this comes to your home, you've got, it comes in a box like this. It comes with 4 applicators in there. I like to tell everybody that I consider that a full treatment. Okay, so what you're doing today is you're sampling the product. You've got the wrap on. You're kind of trying everything out. But a box of wraps, that's 4 applicators, is a full treatment. And then this reminds me, oh, hey, tell me about the defining gel, okay? So then what I like to do is if they would like to put some on the back of their hand, they can try what I have here and we'll pass that around. Or I like to involve my hostess, okay? Because that could be a distributor in training for you. So involve your hostess in as much as possible. And then the next package reminds me to pick up the fat fighter, the next product. And so what I do is I do the fat fighter demonstration at that time and talk about the fat fighters a little bit, all right? And I also like to mention that this package is such a good deal because they're paying for the defining gel and the box of wraps, but they're getting their fat fighter for only $5. So people are like, oh, because everybody likes a deal. Then the next package picks up Profit and it also picks up greens. This is where I talk about those 2 products. I like to let everybody sample the greens. I typically put a little bit in orange juice and let everybody sample it. Do not give everybody 2 scoops of greens and their own little servings of orange juice at an evening party. They're not going to like it. No. So what I do is I, like at the gas station, you might have the, the little 8 ounce or the 16 ounce, whatever it is. And I pour a little bit out so you've got some room. And I just put, 1 or 2 scoops in, depending on what time of the day it is, because they're sampling. You just want to let them know that it does not taste like mowed grass. Okay, it's okay. They're not going to kill over when they try it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you might do that at your party and let them sample it. The next page talks about, and if you have Profit, let me go back. If you have Profit, you can let them sample that at that time too, and you just introduce that product. You're going to chit chat just a minute, okay? And you're going to move on. And then the next page reminds me to talk about our loyal customer program. And if you need to make a note in here, put a little sticky note, something, and talk about what to expect. That is the most important thing to me during my presentation as far as I'm concerned. And what I do is I just mention what to expect when you take the wrap off. Has anybody here not heard about the toxic swell or the toxic bloat? Has anybody not heard about that? Okay, so I don't need to go into that. So I like to mention that. And then you're just going to kind of go over what to expect whenever you take the wrap off. And then, I put this down and tell everybody that we'll go get the results. I've got this up here to remind you to put this out as well. Put this on the table, give it to the hostess, have everybody pass it around. This is a great tool to use. Don't just let it sit in your kit, okay? Use this. I've had people sign up as distributors just because of this magazine. It is just amazing, so I can't say enough about that. The facial, let's go back to that. This is something fun that I do. This is not necessary. Whenever I launch a new distributor and I am doing their first party, I recently heard about this from one of our leaders. And what she does is she asks everybody, would you, everybody get out their phone if you want to participate and scroll through, and we're going to take the back of your order form and write down as many names and phone numbers as you can. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that, and you could be getting your greens demonstration ready or whatever you need to do while you're giving them a few minutes to do it. And you're going to tell them to help the new distributor, we're going to write down as many names as you can so that this person can contact them and help them really get their business going. And the winner's going to get a free facial, and we're going to put it on today. So that way you've introduced another product to them. They're going to see results at that party from the facial. And if you use a wrap reward, this was very inexpensive for you. And so that's a great way. I've only done this a few times lately, and I am seeing about 20 to 35 phone numbers coming in for that brand new distributor. And so that really gives them a really good place to start and start calling people. So I love that idea. And you can do other things, but this, again, is not necessary. Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you do that in the beginning so that they see the results of the facial after, or when do you?
That's a good question. Thank you for saying that. Typically, whenever I get everybody wrapped and we all come out, I ask everybody, is everybody tingling? How's everybody feeling? And I make sure that everybody's got their water and that they're drinking their water. And then that's when I say, let's go ahead and do this. And then that way we can put it on and they're wearing that for the 45 minutes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Now, after your party, they taught. Yes, ma'am.
I just want, when you do the facial part, do you have the person that wins, like, do they to go wash their makeup off?
I do.
Or,
I do.
make sure that
And the hostess can help them do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you're absolutely right. And then we come out and we put it on in front of everybody so people can see how simple it is. We talked about this a little bit earlier. As far as taking your sign-in sheet, it has the email numbers, phone numbers, or the email addresses and the phone numbers and all of the information from your guests. I like to take that and follow up with people, send them the email. Like we talked about earlier today, follow up with them. Not everybody will measure, but some people will, and I like to title it, The Biggest Loser, and talk about who lost the most inches, and hopefully everybody's involved with that. You can do it on texting, like group texting or group email, however you like that, that's fine. But it gets people involved and it shows, it makes that connection and it shows that you care. You didn't just do the party and you're done, all right? And then beyond that, call your customers, like they mentioned earlier. Reach out to people and let them know, hey, I'm here to help. I'm available if you have questions. I send out a letter to my distributors welcoming to my team, and I also send out a letter to my loyal customers and thanking them for being a part of my business. So that might be something that you consider as well. So follow-up is so key. And you know what? Ask the question. Ask for referrals. Ask for people that want to make some extra money. Ask the question because they may not know that they can do what you do. Maybe they don't realize how easy it is. So I mentioned that at my parties. You can, call people and say, hey, you talked about this. You were really excited. You had some great results at your party. Would you be interested? Ask the question. Would you be interested in maybe looking into this? I'd love to sit down and visit with you about that. If you don't ask, you don't know. So reach out to people. And they may need you to reach out. Maybe they're a shy person. Maybe they're not even sure about that. But when you reach out to somebody, that's a really good opportunity. So basically that's what I wanted to cover. I wanted to keep it kind of short and sweet. And like I said, there is a lot more to it. And we could get into, measuring and how to put wraps on everybody and all that good stuff. But today we just kind of wanted to give an overview of that. And that's about it.